Hi, welcome back to the Garden Hills Lifestyle series, where we dive into the details that make our neighborhood so unique. One thing you may not know is that I served on NPU-B zoning board for over 15 years. Today, we're going to talk about zoning in plain English. That is, how it affects you as a homeowner or potential buyer, and how to navigate the process if you're planning to renovate, add on, or build something new. But first, I'm Abbie Shepherd, resident and realtor in Garden Hills. I've been fortunate enough to live, work, and play in this neighborhood since 2008. The purpose of this video series is to give you a taste of the true Garden Hills lifestyle, whether you're a current resident or thinking of moving to the neighborhood. My hope is that you'll find this information helpful and informative. And as always, if you're looking to buy, sell, or simply plug in and get connected, you can call me. For all things Garden Hills, your neighbor, Abbie Shepherd. Now back to zoning. So let's start with the basics. The city of Atlanta is divided into 25 NPUs, neighborhood planning units. These are volunteer citizen advisory boards created back in 1974 to give people a real voice in how their neighborhoods grow and change. NPUs review everything from zoning applications to land use changes to liquor licenses and event permits. If you live, rent, or own property in the neighborhood, you're automatically a member, and you have a vote. In Garden Hills, we fall into NPU-B. So when a developer wants to upzone a property, or when a homeowner wants to build a pool a little closer to the lot line than the code allows, it comes through our NPU board for review. So, how does zoning actually affect you? Well, Garden Hills is mostly zoned R4, which is residential single family. That means one house per lot. And there are some very specific rules about what you can build and where. For example, your house has to sit at least 35 feet back from the front of the property line. On the sides, you need to leave 7 feet clear, and in the rear, it's 15 feet. Now, if your home's on a corner lot, you'll need 17.5 feet to the side yard that faces the street. What's important if you're thinking about adding a pool, a garage, or even bumping out a room in the back of your house, if your addition crosses one of those setback lines, you'll need a variance. And that means community support, public hearings, and city approval. Now, many homes in Garden Hills have older detached garages that don't meet current setback requirements. They're often built just a few feet off the property line. These are considered grandfathered. That means they can remain, but if you tear one down, you can't rebuild in the same spot without a variance. And if you want to add a second story on top of that old garage, well, that counts as new construction and will also require a variance, even though the footprint hasn't changed. Another important zoning rule is lot coverage. In R4, you're allowed to cover up to 50% of lot with impervious surfaces. That includes your house, driveway, garage, patios, and pools, basically anything that doesn't allow water to soak to the ground. And why does that matter? Well, because Atlanta gets a lot of rain, and flooding is a serious issue. As development increases, we see more water runoff, which leads to overwhelmed storm drains and erosion on our creeks and waterways. That's why the city requires retention systems on new builds, underground tanks, rain gardens, or other features that help manage the runoff. And it's also why we have a 75-foot stream buffer, much stricter than the state's 50-foot requirement. That's a line you really can't cross. Getting a variance to build within a stream buffer is extremely rare. Speaking of the environment, let's touch base on the tree ordinance. Garden Hills is known for its beautiful tree canopy, but it's protected. If you want to remove a tree, you'll need a certified arborist to declare it dead, diseased, or dangerous. Otherwise, you're going through a formal permitting process, and just like zoning, the tree ordinance is also being rewritten to be more comprehensive. So let's say you want to make changes to your home. Maybe you're adding a porch, finishing out a basement, or building a new garage. What do you actually need to do? Start by talking to an architect. They'll help you draw up any plans and flag any potential zoning issues. Then check with the city to see if you need a permit. You'll definitely need one for anything structural, electrical, plumbing related, and yes, replacing a water heater, putting up a fence also might require one, depending on the height, location, and the cost of the project. If your plans don't comply with the current zoning code, that's when the variance process kicks in. You'll gather letters of support from the neighbors, present to the Garden Hills Civic Association, then come before the NPU-B board. If all goes well, the application moves to the Board of Zoning Adjustments, which makes the final call. We also get a ton of questions about historic designation. You may have seen some of the homes with plaques. Those are National Registry listings, which are honorary unless federal funding is involved. They don't restrict what you can do to your property. Local historic designations, like those in Grant Park, do carry legal restrictions. Garden Hills has a historical street pattern designation, but enforcement of that has been tricky. There's also a lot of curiosity around ADUs, or accessory dwelling units. These are small second structures. Think like a backyard apartment or in-law suite. So thanks to recent updates, you can now build an ADU on an R4 lot with certain height and size restrictions. It's part of the city's push to increase housing options while preserving neighborhood character. Also, a hotly debated topic. Zoning can feel overwhelming, but it really boils down to preserving the things we all love about Garden Hills: the walkability, the tree canopy, the architectural variety, and at the same time, we want to support smart growth and give people room to adapt their homes to modern life. If you want to go deeper, I'm always recommend checking out Atlanta Muni Code online. It's the official source for the zoning, permitting, and tree ordinance, and more. You can also attend your local NPU meeting. Ours is NPU-B, and we meet the first Tuesday of each month. Or just reach out to me. I'm always happy to connect you with great zoning attorney or architect. So thanks for watching this episode of Garden Hills Lifestyle. I'm Abbie Shepherd, and whether you're building your dream home, adding a guest suite, or just planting roots here in the neighborhood, I hope this helps you feel a little more empowered and informed. Like, subscribe, and share with a neighbor who's planning a project. I'll see you around the neighborhood.